Okay, you guys ready for the last segment? Let's get some energy in here. Ooh, oh yeah, ooh, oh yeah. All right, great. Now, how many of you all have found at least one thing that you can take back and use back in the real worlds that you guys are all part of? That's why you're here. Everybody raise your hands, please. Good. That's what I was looking for. Excellent. Something you can take back to the real world. Yeah, because who wants to sit here and waste our time? Who wants to do stuff that doesn't make any sense? Who wants to do something that doesn't enhance relationships? And who the heck wants to come in here and just do stuff that's dry and not fun and bouncy, right? Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about team building right now. And what I'd like you to do is to jump over to page 9 of your workbook. And we're going to talk a little bit about team building. Now, the thing about teams, I was just asked the question at the break. It's kind of interesting how this works. How many of you all would agree that opposites attract? But sometimes after opposites attract, that when they get within each other's radar screen, they irritate the heck out of each other. The opposites do, right? Well, the real answer to that, Carl Jung answered when he differentiated between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. The conscious mind, that part of you that is fully aware of the information you're bringing in, of the interactions you're having with people, very directly with the words you're saying and the body language that you're conscious of, the conscious mind wants to be with people that are like that you're like, that are like you, right? The unconscious mind, though, wants balance. What the unconscious mind wants is it wants to be everything simultaneously, but part of that, since you can only be in one space at any particular point in time, part of that has to be vicariously, right? So what you end up doing, many of us at an unconscious level, is attracting people who are the opposite of who we are. Now, that's good, and we can do that in a relationship, and that makes a relationship stronger if we can do what, Brian? If we can be adaptive, if we can learn these skills and not be irritated by that person, and we can use the strengths of that person without being irritated by the differences between us and that person, then we can have a nice balanced relationship. And the same works for a work team, right? What I'm going to tell you is that if we have all colors doing their thing on a work team, which is represented by this top bar over here, then we have consistent, extraordinary results. And that's what I want you to write down. We have consistent, extraordinary results. We have all parts of what needs to be done being taken care of. But we're going to predict here, if we don't like to slow down and do things right, if we don't like to collect data, if we don't like to have policies and procedures, that is, if we don't let blue energy do their thing, what kind of results as a team do you think we're going to get? Inconsistent or erratic results, that's right. Sometimes we'll luckily get it right, sometimes we'll unluckily get it wrong, and we won't know why, what caused what. We won't know the linkage between cause and effect. Are policies and procedures important? Can people that like to write policies and procedures sometimes induce paralysis by analysis? In other words, sometimes can they work on it too long? It needs to be a balance. But would you agree with me? It needs to be there. All right? Without green energy on the team, what kind of results are we going to get without that caring, supportive energy? Cold, hostility. Does it take time sometimes to put the task off to the side and engage and really put the real issues on the table and talk through them and work them through? Does that take time? It's a good investment of time, though. All right? Because down the line, if we don't do that, what happens? Yeah, we get cold results. But what happens to people if real human issues aren't dealt with and they become toxic and they fester? What happens over time? You have explosions. What happens to people sometimes when those issues aren't dealt with? Yeah, they quit or they burn out. So what we get is eventual burnout and quitting if we don't deal with the green issues when they need to be dealt with. But folks, can dealing with the green issues, can we spend too much time talking about our feelings? Yeah, it needs to be done in balance. Would you agree? It needs to be done in balance. Without yellow energy on the team, what kind of results do we get? Boring. In the beginning, when we form the team, we get all excited to be working on this new project together, or we form this new department, or we get new lifeblood in the team. It's all exciting while we're on the honeymoon phase. But when it just becomes the same thing day after day after day after day after day, what happens to our results? that we don't really get into that inspirational level anymore, do we? We don't get that inspirational level of performance, people reaching for the stars, people going for the top of the hill, do we? Our results start to plateau and oftentimes start to go negative simply because it's becoming too boring and we don't have the inspiration on the team anymore. Can sometimes we overdo that though? Can sometimes we have too much fun on the team? Too much fun that gets in the way of getting things right? But is having some fun, some inspiration, some team building, is that important energy to keep a team going? Yeah, but that also, like everything else, can be overdone. Without red energy on the team, what kind of results do we get? No results. But here's the thing. Here's the mistake that red energy often makes. And you know why I can speak so clearly to this, you guys? Because I've done it many times. At the conscious level, I like people that are like me. I like people that are like this. But too much energy, too much of this on a team, what can that lead to? Disaster, toxicity, too much, everything can just break apart. And then nobody's talking to anybody, right? So real, true team behavior is getting the gifts of each energy aligned with what they do and having people be free to be in that space when we need detailed policies and procedures. When we need to have one-on-one discussions to figure out things that have offended people or causing toxicity on the team. When people need to be inspired at a team building level to reach up and be aligned with a vision and a mission, right? And to actually focus all those energies on the task at hand or the mission at hand to get it done.